we tread upon Mother Earth, and we tread as lightly, as compassionately, as non-violently as we possibly can. And we tread in the way, those of us committed to a spiritual practice, committed to Dharma, committed to yoga, we tread in a way that we hope will cause the least amount of pain and suffering and bring about the most amount of healing, health, goodness. And it's complicated. For example, we have to eat. Very few of us are able to be breatharians. It's one of the few items on my bucket list. I'd love to be able to do it. I'd love to be able to just live on air. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, which means we have to eat. Now, we eat, and again, those of us who are committed to this path, we eat as non-violently as possible. So, obviously, we are vegetarians, we're vegans. We eat as organically as possible, as locally as possible, in ways that keep farmers happy, our earth happy. But there's some level of violence in that. Even vegetables feel something, they're alive. Fruit probably feels something, it's alive. Inevitably, there's worms in the ground, bugs in the ground who die when you till the soil. But we have to eat. And so you have to make this decision. We walk on the grass, inevitably, something is going to get itself caught under our feet. Or grass gets cut down and concrete gets poured, so everything that lived in the grass dies. But as we live, as we create what we consider developed societies, there's a price we pay. But it's a constant balance, because I do not believe that actually our highest dharma is just to absolutely sit still and never move, never tread onto grass, never get in a moving vehicle. I mean, yes, right now in the middle of the corona pandemic, that is our highest dharma, for sure. But at the rest of the time, I don't think that God has created us with the purpose that we should just absolutely not budge anywhere, lest a worm, a creature, should find itself under our foot. But it's a balance. And as the person who asked this question, we travel. Coming to have Mother Ganga's darshan, does that contribute to pollution? Well, unless you personally throw your trash in her, or unless you are staying somewhere where the waste isn't treated and goes into Ganga, unless you do those things, then no, your personal visit isn't polluting her. But on a bigger level, yeah, it is. Because the airplane that you take to fly from South Africa to India, the airplane that you take from Delhi to here, the car that you take from the airport to Rishikesh, they all contribute to climate change, contribute to the depletion of our ozone layer, contribute on some level to air pollution. And it's a balance. Because maybe when you come, in the the experience that you have here on the banks of Mother Ganga, you are so touched and so transformed that your life becomes a blessing to so many. And sitting here on Mother Ganga's banks, you find that inner connection to the divine powerhouse, to your dharma, to your purpose. And then you live that, touching and healing countless people. Is it worth the impact on the environment? Well, I would say yes. We don't have some objective equation into which you can input number of miles you traveled, then subtract from it the amount of good you're doing in the world as though somehow that were measurable, that was inspired by you being here in this holy place. We don't have a way to measure it. This is where we have what Puja Swamiji calls our inner GPS that tells us, that guides us. So ask yourself, is the internal spiritual benefit to me enough to offset my carbon footprint? Can you be inspired, changed, transformed, uplifted? Because what we need today, more than everybody just sitting home and not moving, but glued to their TV sets, just binge watching movies and beating up their partners in these skyrocketing rates of domestic violence. More than that, what we need is a global community that is connected and uplifted, awake. And if that takes an occasional airplane flight, getting in your car sometimes, it's worth it. But this is where consciousness has to be brought into everything we do. And an awareness that, yeah, it all has a ripple impact. Everything we do, everything we eat, everything we buy, what shampoo you use, what soap you use, it all has an impact. The ingredients that are in it, who's produced it? Was it tested on animals? All of these. And it allows us actually the opportunity to really be conscious in every minute and every moment. How we eat, how we shop, how we dress. And yeah, how we travel. And certainly one thing this lockdown has shown us is a lot of the travel is really unnecessary. A lot of what we used to get in our cars to do or get on planes to do, amazing. We can do it without moving. And we're still going to want to get in our cars sometimes and get on planes sometimes, because there will be places to go, things to do, people to see that we can't do via Zoom or FaceTime. And the impact of which will be worth the negative ripple upon the environment. But we must bring that consciousness into it. And then, of course, every time you get on a plane or every time you get in a car, keep a list. And at the end of every month or the end of every 2 months, make a nice donation to a wonderful organization that is doing fantastic work for climate change. There's lots of them. Work for the environment. Work protecting our rainforests. Every time you get in a car or on a plane, make a note. tally it up in some way at the end of the month. There are equations for how to measure carbon footprints and offsetting it. And so just make a commitment that A, you're going to bring consciousness into your travel. You're not going to get in your car to just go for a drive or get on a plane just because you're bored and need to go somewhere. But when you do travel, to get inspired, to get connected, to be transformed, that you're then simultaneously also going to put back into that environment, back into the planet, and allow the organizations who are working to keep the air clean, the forests standing, the waters clean, to help them do their job.